Is Daniel Dubois overconfident? Watch this video. Hello, welcome to On My Own Son. I hope you're well. So, Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker coming up on the Batavia of Bivol 2 Undercard. And it's a great card. I think it's widely agreed that this is probably one of the best fight cards that has ever been, really. And some great fights on the undercard as well. My favourite of the whole night is going to be against Zhili Zhang against Ajit Kabayel as well. I'm a huge fan of Ajit Kabayel, the way he fights, and his two last outings I thought were great as well. So I'll be really interested to see how he matches up against Zhili Zhang. But this video is all about Daniel Dubois. You saw the face-off. You've watched loads of videos, I'm sure, about Daniel Dubois facing off against Joe Parker. And, you know, we saw the head-to-head. And lots of people are saying, well, is Daniel Dubois overlooking what's in front of him? The challenge that is in front of him? Because his eyes are on the prize of Usyk. That's what he wants. And he got into the ring after Usyk beat Fury for the second time. You know, trying to stake his case, trying to lay claim to, hey, look, you should be fighting me next. You know, last time it was all a fluke. It's all different now. It's all changed. Now, that might be the case. I'm just wondering, is this too much from Daniel Dubois? Now, it's really hard to say whether this is real confidence, whether it's absolute belief, or whether he's just getting carried away with the moment. I've got to say, the cynic in me is kind of looking at this and thinking, I think he's getting a bit carried away there. I think he's getting carried away with the performances that he's had, which have been absolutely fantastic, not taking anything away from him, and the things that have come out from his trainer and from his management. And you kind of think, is this just a little bit somebody else's words? It's just something that you're getting carried away now and thinking, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do this. He's not a natural speaker, Daniel Dubois, and you don't have to be a boxer. Of course you don't. That's, you know, by the by. But ever since, especially since he went up against AJ and then eventually beat him, of course, that whole process, that whole time period saw him really come out of his skin. And it's almost like somebody, you know, has been in his ear saying, you've got to act like this, you've got to say these things, and it's almost like he's convinced himself that he is invincible. Now, that is a great thing. That is a great trait to have, because as we know, a lot of things, it's all up here. It's all your mental agility to be able to deal with things. The good things and the bad things. And I'm just wondering if he's just overlooked Joe Parker. Now, if I had to kind of have a guess right now, I would still favour Daniel Dubois in the way he demolished AJ, the way he stood up to Hrgovic, Jarrell Miller as well. You know, he was fantastic in those fights. And the way he went up against AJ and demolished him on the front foot, I'm just wondering whether Joe Parker has looked at that fight, looked at the way Daniel Dubois was, looked at the way AJ was in particular, and say, right, I need to fight another way. And Joe Parker doesn't fight like that anyway. He will be fighting in a different way. He'll be a lot more elusive. He'll be a lot quicker on his feet. He'll be a lot more, you know, boxing Daniel Dubois rather than going out for any knockout punch. Now, I'm not 100% sure, I should say, whether Joe Parker has got the knockout blow to take out Daniel Dubois. But what I do think he has is better ring IQ. I think he's a better boxer, but it may just not be enough. So this is where I think Daniel Dubois might have overstepped here a little bit. He might have got to get a bit carried away. And I think this fight might be tougher than he expects it to be. I think he thinks he's going to go in there, just bulldoze over Joe Parker, and you know it'll all be rosy after that because he can go fight in Usyk. I think Joseph Parker has got a really, really good chance in this fight, and it's just the way he moves, just the way he operates. And yeah, he can take a blow, he can take a punch, but also he can get back up. He's been in adversity. Yes, Daniel Dubois has been in adversity as well, but he hasn't got back up in those times, whereas Joe Parker has. Now, it could be that it is exactly what Daniel Dubois thinks. This is going to be a walk in the park. This is him going to be just going right through Joseph Parker, and he's going to go on for Usyk. It could be exactly that. But my gut feeling, and I think a lot of people might be thinking exactly the same here, thinking you might have over-egged yourself. You might have overestimated yourself. Just because you've had great performances in other fights, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that. It doesn't mean that the opponent in front of you is going to continue making the same mistakes that the other boxers have made with you as well. This could be a tough fight. Now, even though it's a tough fight, Daniel Dubois could obviously still win. He could still come out on top. I'm not saying either way, actually, but I've got a feeling that Daniel Dubois thinks it's going to be an easy fight. And if it is an easy fight, fair play to him. But I'm not convinced by it. I'm not convinced that against Joseph Parker, this is going to be an easy fight. I think he's going to take him deep into this fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down to a decision. I don't think Joseph Parker's got it in him to knock out Daniel Dubois unless something, weird happens, of course, and Daniel Dubois just doesn't see something coming. Unless Daniel Dubois loses it mentally in there and he just can't listen to instructions, or he doesn't know what the game plan is, or he's coming up against Joseph Parker who's got another game plan which he can't figure out on the hoof. And that's my only doubt about Daniel Dubois in terms of the way he boxes. Can he work it out in the ring? Can he change it up himself, not having to rely on other people telling him what to do? Can he just do this himself? I'm not 100% sure. I could be completely wrong. I would still kind of lean towards a Daniel Dubois win here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Big Joe Parker does it. I would not be surprised as well. And it will be thoroughly deserved from his part as well, because he's been fantastic in all his fights. The only thing I would say about Joseph Parker is against the fight against Zhilei Zhang, well, he should have lost that fight. Most people would agree he should have lost that fight because Zhilei Zhang really just went off the gas, and he didn't put him away early. He knocked him down twice. He should have had him out of there. But Joe Parker stayed in there, bounced back, and he won on points. And I thought it was a win on points as well. Against Wilder, I mean, we all know what Wilder is now, or what he has been the last couple of fights. He's been actually a shadow of himself. If you ever rated Wilder as a boxer, which most people don't, but they certainly rated him as having a great right hand, of course. But Joseph Parker just got him out of there as well there. So you kind of think, well, the level of performances or the level of opponents that he's come through the last couple of fights, are they at Daniel Dubois' level? Or certainly at the opponents that Daniel Dubois face, are they at their level? I don't think they are. That's the issue. So I think he's coming in here possibly thinking that he's had a great run up in terms of fights and he's done fantastically well, but it might not be the same recent history as Daniel Dubois. And that's my only concern for Joseph Parker, that he knows exactly what he's got in front of him. He knows what the challenge is, and I'm just not sure whether they're coming to the same battle with the same amount of recent history. For that reason alone, I'm going to side with Daniel Dubois, but I think this is going to be a really tough fight for both fighters. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you don't want to do here, we'll just keep on watching the videos. I say I cannot wait for this fight card, and I cannot wait for the undercard as well. So many great fights, but Zhilei Zhang against Ajit Kabayat, I hope, beyond hope, that nothing happens to either boxer in the run up to this and they don't pull out. Certainly hope that, but ultimately we're all gearing up to the number 1 fight, Beterbiev against Bivol, and I'll tell you what, on this one I'm going to go for Bivol. I had Beterbiev last time out, but I'm really going for Bivol here. He has to learn a lot in this fight, but I'll make a video on the run up to that one as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below of all the fights on the undercard. Let us know and keep on watching, and I'll catch you again. Bye now.